New tonight at 5, President Trump's executive order on marijuana is getting a thumbs up from the cannabis industry. While it doesn't make it legal, it does ease some regulations and allows more research. Your chief political reporter, Susan Raff, is telling us what it means for businesses right here in our state tonight. Susan?
Well, Mark, I can tell you this. It's big news in the marijuana world. Marijuana is sold for medical and recreational use here in Connecticut, but the federal government still classifies cannabis as a Schedule I illegal drug. President Trump wants to change that to a Schedule III. While marijuana is illegal at the federal level, more and more states are developing their own policies. 40 states now allow the sale of recreational marijuana, including Connecticut. 24 states have medical cannabis.
No, it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Reno Ferrarisi, the president of Affinity Grow, says the president's plan to declassify cannabis would level the playing field. Currently, they can't write off business expenses on their taxes, things like rent, utilities, and employees. Plus, traditional banks aren't always receptive, which makes financing challenging. Ferrarisi has been in the cannabis industry from the ground up in Connecticut more than 10 years. His company cultivates 10,000 square feet of marijuana plants.
It's far safer than it's ever been. There's a lot of testing. There's an extreme amount of testing, and cannabis industry is the only industry that I know of in the world that requires third-party mandatory testing.
The formal process to declassify started under the Biden administration. President Trump wants to make it happen. Declassifying cannabis would also open the door for a lot more research.
There is medical benefit to cannabis, and this allows different industries and higher education institutes and researchers to study those medical how we can use cannabis to to provide for medical relief.
Again, to be very clear, marijuana would still be illegal on the federal level, but this does remove some of the barriers. The executive order also allows more research on hemp and CBD products. Your chief political reporter, Susan Raff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.